Hey, good morning, Squadron. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest with fighter pilot precision every day. Got a great show for you today where we're going to talk about one of our favorites, especially if you are an owner of this stock, and that's Palantir. We're a few weeks out from the direct listing, and we're going to talk about the path of Palantir, how it was up, then it was down, and now it's almost doubled since that direct listing. So a little more about what they do and some of the things that are in play. They got a new contract today. Or yesterday. It was announced last night, so affecting the stock price today. And we'll look about, how much further does this thing have to run? Is it a long-term hold? That's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're catching us on replay, make sure you subscribe so you get notified on this every day when we go out. And also, if you want to join us live, we have a group of us to get together in the morning. Costs you a little bit, $25 a month to be able to hang out. We got a chat room and a Q&A window to be able to converse directly with me, and I will answer all of your questions. With that, let's go ahead and get the show started. All right, welcome back again to the morning brief. Make sure you have everything set up there for your windows, and standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation. So you have to do your own due diligence before you act upon anything you hear this morning. All right, for our mission objectives today, Thursday, November 19th, and November's clipping right along. It's been a busy month. Obviously, you heard the guys earlier talking on CNBC about the election. That continues to kind of play out. So we shall see. I think the market is set with the results and moving on. I don't see any particular changes of note myself that are going to affect our money that's out there. But you never know. We shall see. All right, as far as our mission objective today is, we're going to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money, particularly talking about how we grow our money off of investing in things like direct listings, which we did back in Palantir a few weeks ago when it came out, and obviously it's had a huge move up since. We'll talk during the question of the day about IPO versus direct listing, so how that process works, and what's coming up. Like Airbnb is going to be an IPO here soon, and we'll talk about whether or not that's a good idea or not. All right, as far as the flow, we're going to go long, short, open, short, long. We're going to do the market review, headline review, and then our long-term investment for today is that PLTR. We'll take a look at that chart. We'll go a little bit in depth since there's a lot of news out about it. We'll get into our short-term execution where we execute our day trade. I put those in the chat. We've got two that we're looking long and one we're looking short, and possibly another in ZTO. If you need those, again, just let me know and I'll pop them up there again. As far as the overall market, though, the trend is red coming off of the 3-day. Thanks, bud. Let me get that back up here one more time, posted for you, and bang, there you go. All right, appreciate the input there, burner. All right, okay, so we've got that's what we've got for today. Standard Q&A afterwards. Don't forget to throw questions in the Q&A if you have them, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And last, contingencies. If you're having any issues or if you need anything, throw it up in the chat. I will see it eventually. All right, let's move on to TD Ameritrade Think Pipes. Look at where we are. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a downtrend here. So again, 1 year for the new folks in the room. This is the S&P 500, 1 year left to right. Have the big move down in March, which is, hey, is about to scroll off. My daughters told me yesterday, not that they're necessarily the complete authority on everything, but they did say yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the first case of COVID-19 coming out of China. So There you go. Historical fact. 1 year later, what are we doing? We're talking about the second wave, right? And is it going to be legitimate? Is it something we need to worry about? Is the vaccine going to get here fast enough? We shall see. Overall, we are in a slight downtrend here, if you can see in the upper right of the chart. But I mean, you got to zoom out on these things. We are well higher than we thought we'd ever be back here. And like I said yesterday, if you take a straight line from January 1st until today and you blank out everything in between and, like you were asleep the whole time, yeah, pretty good year, up a decent amount. The only real losers in the big game are the ones that sold hard here, because when do you get back in? Right? If you ate this 35% loss, well, then you're just going to take years, if not a decade, to get that back. So consider the next time we have a big market sell-off of not selling everything. So we have had a nice move up here. I think the market could come down for the rest of this week on and next week, kind of waiting for all the Trump's lawsuits to kind of play out or get dismissed or whatever. Any recounts that need to be done, and blah, 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 blah. Eventually, I think we will see a concession out of them and the country will move on. It'll be interesting. Maybe the Republicans demanding a concession just to be able to move on. We'll see. All right, that's what we have. Let's zoom in here a little bit on the 5-day chart. That's Palantir's 5-day chart. I'm sure that's certainly not the SPY's 5-day chart. I was like, what? All right, that's more like it. So really, past 3 days have been down. It kind of had the big sell-off yesterday. Again, not super worried about it. But negativity going into this morning. Haven't had the earnings have been a little bit mixed. So we shall see. Today could go either way. My call on the day was I think it'll just be kind of a reddish type day on throughout the day today and on into tomorrow. So that's my call on what's going to happen. Here's our short-term charts. Again, we got the SPY to the left. We're going to go with our longs. If you look in the chat there, we have BILI. Billy, cool Chinese name. They're a video sharing name. I would say they're the Chinese Zoom, but I'm not so sure that is a perfect analogy. We have Solo, which is an EV maker out of Europe, Italian specifically, and then Macy's is our short. I like the Macy's short the best, and I'll explain that here in a minute. All right, let's take a look at the headlines for today. Excuse me, there we go. All right, take a look at, we'll refresh this here in a second. Okay, so a little bit in the red across the board. Again, you just looked at the chart, kind of flat-ish going in. So nothing super predictive of how we will open there. All right, here's the numbers out of Europe in the red across the board. Again, shutdown versus vaccine. That's the UFC fight, UFC 2020 till the end of the year. That's what we're going to be talking about. You did say a headline that I think it was Pfizer said they could have it on the streets by mid-December. That's a month from now. So I mean, that's not a lot of time. So we'll see if that holds or not. But I would expect, Europe's got a little worse than us. Despite everything, all the bad press the U.S. gets on it. But all right, Asia mixed. Here's our numbers from yesterday. Got pretty big there towards the end as things sold off. Bonds leaking a little bit, nothing really of significance. Same thing in oil, dropping slightly, but nothing to worry about. Gold and silver selling off again, election's over. And then, of course, Bitcoin is on the rise. So it's been kind of on a tear. More to follow. I think next week I'll run a Bitcoin as the specialty. So I have some younger folks showing some interest. I do, for the couple of younger folks in our room, I do plan on running a teen or a youth, I don't know, whatever is the appropriate name, investing forum where the folks that are in this room, I'll invite you to be on the panel. So more to follow on that. Again, I'll reach out by email to y'all to see if that's interested. Hopefully you're interested. It'll be pretty cool. And you'll get some street cred too. We'll talk about some questions for you to ask, and we'll go back and forth a little bit. I think it'll be pretty fun and educational, which is kind of the point of all of it. All right, let's go back to the headlines. We did get the jobs number this morning. I'm trying to find it. It was a little worse. It was about 750. We were expecting 700,000. 750,000 jobless claims. We're expecting about 700,000. So a little bit of a spike there. There are some local closures, at least where I am, of restaurants and a movie theater, that sort of thing. So I think this second wave is going to have a significant impact. And again, stimulus isn't really even being talked about, other than Jamie Dimon threw spears at the government yesterday saying, hey, are we going to have this or not? So, all right. If you're in the sport, if you're up in the sports world, you got the NBA draft started last night. I think we were a little bit NBA overload because the NBA just finished, and now they're already kind of back starting up for next season. But interesting here, Super Bowl going cashless. So I do like carrying cash. I always have, and maybe that means I'm a dinosaur, and I wouldn't argue that. But yeah. Pretty interesting deal going cashless all the way around. All right, here's Macy's. Is our short for today. Again, they're looking at about down 6%. So we'll take a ride south on that. I'm going to take that almost immediately. You can take a pre-market. I know if the T-Rex at the little arms. Thanks, Burner. For anybody that's interested, you could take Macy's right now. Now, if you do take a pre-market trade, because we're 8 minutes out, you want to take a third of the position or a fourth of the position. So if your position size is 1,000 shares, take like 250 right now, and then add at the open in case it works against you. So consider. More ferocious and aggressive dinosaur. So I guess it was a compliment. I like it. Okay, let's see what we have. Trying to see if there's anything to talk about. Again, there's our Macy's L Brands. If you know, that's Victoria's Secret bed, Bath and Body Works. They crushed it. They're up like 20% today. Kind of crazy. Okay, yeah, Facebook moderators. Yeah, I wouldn't want this job. Your job is to censor comments in the United States of America. Pass. People get upset about wearing a mask. Wait till they have something to say, and you go, no, no, thank you. So anyhow. Done a little selling in Facebook stock, so kind of trimming positions, if not outright getting rid of it in some areas. All right, let's go ahead, and I'm taking myself off camera here. Let's take a look at Palantir real quick, which is our long-term theme of the day. Okay, what does Palantir do? It's a software company that they mostly have government contracts. They just got another government contract today. And they're poised to, they took credit. Whether this is true or not, we'll probably never know unless everything's released in like 100 years. But they took credit for the top secret operations that led to the killing of bin Laden on that raid. They're in the news now. George Soros is talking about he dumped his PLTR position because he disagrees, with Peter Thiel, who supports Trump. But everything Peter Thiel has touched in the past has turned to gold, and I don't think this is any different. But Palantir has been around for a while. It's been around for, I think, 17 years. It just went public through that direct listing that we talked about, and you can see how the stock has reacted. Now, I said on this day, for those of you that were sitting here that morning with me, I said it's supposed to open at 10. I would pay up to $20 for this immediately. Okay, so I was willing to pay double what the stock was priced at just to get in on it. Well, fortunately, that didn't happen. Most of us got our shares at 10. It popped up that day. I doubled up at around 11, which turned out to be a little soon because it went back down to around 8 or so. I think 850 might have been the low. Bounced up again, so it took a little while to find itself. But look, once it found itself, you go up here. Now, what you also see during a direct listing versus an IPO. In an IPO, you are locked out of selling your shares for like 6 months. So that there's not a lot of selling, and that's why IPOs can go up, right away, is because the people that are in it early can't sell. So this was a case of the founders basically realizing their gains, kind of getting rich, backing some of their money out. And once the selling stopped, look what happened. Kabam. What are we at? I don't know, 80% on our money. Here's a performance of the month, 93%. If you're into that. Now, it won't continue at 93% a month. So don't get crazy here. But it needs to chill out somewhere between 20 and probably 16. It'll need to find itself again before it goes higher. So that's how those things work. If you want to find out more, man, every day getting crushed with articles on Palantir. But literally, if you only had like 3 stocks, PLTR should be one of them. So pretty confident endorsement from me on that stock. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our Street Smart Edge. We're going to look kind of Macy's, the chart that now as we transition into the short portion of the show. So 5 million shares in Macy's. You can look down. It was on this one. You can look here and see that's not there either. They had earnings out this morning. Oh, it's on the other chart. You'll see here in a second. They did beat earnings. This is kind of crazy, right? So they beat earnings by 63 cents. Well, okay, what that really means, see if I can find it here, is they lost like 30 cents per share. No, they lost 19% per share versus expectations of losing 82 cents per share. This is Macy's. This is dinosaur retail. This is old rich people going in and paying 3 times as much as they should for shoes. Literally, who goes to Macy's? Hardly anybody anymore. They rode this big bump in tech up from $5.75 up to almost $9. It's on the way down. I think it can make a healthy move down today. That's why we're going to be in it. It does have the holidays coming up, so that'll prop it up. In retail, we talked about yesterday, is kind of on fire, but it closed at $8.99. It's at $8.53. A lot of people, a lot of movement. I think we're going to see a good move down. You can see it on this side, on the right-hand side. As far as our 2 longs, don't really like longs today, but I think these stand alone. Bilibili is a Chinese video sharing app, or I don't know if it's app or software, but either way, plenty of volume. It's going higher. It's going to be a cool name that I need to do some more research on. May even load up on it long for the book. We shall see. Got to learn a little bit more, but for a trade, it certainly meets our criteria. Excuse me. And then Solo is however you want to say that. I'm not going to try, but plenty of shares in play. This is a European EV maker. So if you think of NIO, Li, XPEV, all these names have literally gone up like 4x, 5x this year. This one's a little late to the prom, but it is on the move. So already a 3x move in a month. I think it's got more to run. So we'll take a look at it. All right, for today. So we'll switch over to TD Ameritrade and get your displays set up for the day trade. Again, you can just follow along if you want, or you can open a paper account for the new folks in the room. You can get a fake money account. They'll throw 100K of fake dollars in there, and you can sit there and trade alongside if you are interested, if that's something you want to do, or just sit back and watch and enjoy. All right, I've got my Schwab stuff pulled up here and ready to go. We'll zoom in on the SPY. Again, the primary here is off to the right, this Macy's. Let's actually switch that to this left screen here. So, and then we will, what is MLI? Don't know, don't care. There's Macy's, Solo, and then BILI off to the right. So we've got short, long, long. So consider that when you're setting things up. You see, it was already up to here. It was already down to here. We're looking at probably a 10-cent stop in Macy's, maybe 15, just because I like it so much and I don't want to get stopped out. Okay, let me get a second, get a drink. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target play of the day. We have 3 trades for you today that we're taking a look at. On the panes you have in front of you, we have the SPY on the left. That's a 1-minute chart to see how the market's doing. We have a Macy's right here. Macy's is a short based off of earnings. We have Solo on the move, and we have higher, and Billy on the move higher. So again, Solo is an EV firm in Europe. There's the opening bell, and then Billy is a Chinese firm. Both those we're looking longer. You can see one's up 10%, the other's up 5%. All right, primarily I'm looking at Macy's. I'm going to take this pretty quick here. So it's down 5%. We're going to go with, let it just flop around for a second, and let's take it at 850. We're going to use a 10-cent stop. So 850, you're in it. 860 is your stop all the way up here. So that's above the high of the day. Get the arrow in here so everybody can tell what we're taking. You can still cop in it now. It hasn't taken the big move down yet. And there she goes. All right, so we're looking at 10 cents, so 850. Get rid of this stupid arrow. Stop, let go. 840 would be your first R. Come on, man. Give me my cursor back. There we go. All right. So 840 is 1R, so already moved down there pretty quick. And then 830 and then 820 would be our exit point. So if you don't have your stop in, go back and get that 860 stop. I don't think it's going to flip, but it could. Really making me mad on not being able to draw on this chart. There we go. 830 is our 2R point. All right, and then it just hit the exit point. So is that right? Yep, 830 and 820. So you can go ahead and exit the trade if you caught it there. If you didn't have it in, I would wait a second. I think it's going to go right back to 820. So yeah, you can exit the trade there. So can't even get the bleepity bleep thing drawn fast enough. And all right, well, I got to fix my get out here. So on the other screen. All right, there. I'll go back and see what that equated to later. So trying to clean this up. If you still have some of it, you can stay in it a little bit. So, oh well, there's the pencil back. All right, 830. 820 is our 3R point. So you can see how fast those things can move, and it went all the way down to 810. Now it probably will back up and continue to sell off the rest of the day, is what I would imagine. But that's why when you exit it, this is caused by people exiting at the same time as when it comes screaming back higher. So that's what you're seeing there. Now these tend to back all the way back up, and there are people who sit and day trade this all day. They'll get out at like 820. They'll watch this move up, get back in here and short it again. I wouldn't mess with it. Just take our 3R and move from there. All right, never did get to finish my arrow, so we'll draw this little small arrow. It's usually bigger when you're zoomed in there. All right, so that is our trade of the day. It worked, and we will take it. So happened fast. Hopefully you're on your game. All right, 12. Let's see. Solo did move higher. Hard to really take that trade because it happened so fast unless you were convinced. Let's see. BLI did not really work. That would have been a tough one. All right, let's take a look at some other things. Excuse me, L brands long. That's selling off. It was up like 17%. It's not holding that. All right, and let's look at FUTU, Futu Holdings. They were long, they're selling off a little bit, which makes sense. Market's selling off slightly. That's going to help shorts. Back in here, we're already out of this trade. But again, this is where I said, if this backs all the way up to here, there's people that are going to turn around and reshort it and just let it leak all day long. I still think Macy's ends up down around $8 on the day. That's not a day trading call. I'm just saying that's where I think it will just continue to leak over the course of the day. Okay, Futu. Let's see what's going on with PLCE. This is Children's Place. They were up higher. I didn't even bring it up with y'all this morning because I wasn't about to trade the Children's Place, and because you're not going to get enough movement out of it like you will in Macy's. So let's see. BERY. Berry Global. Don't know what they do, but they beat earnings, so they're on the move up. And then let's take a look at ZTO. We'll go to the right screen. ZTO was the other short we were going to look at. It's ZTO Express. I think they're a financial firm, and they're down significantly here, down 8% or so. They sold off a little bit. That'd have been a tough move to catch her, but certainly there's a 3R move there if you took it right away. So again, we talked about taking stuff pre-market. We'll go back to kind of Macy's. Well, so you heard me, a few minutes. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Major, on the Zoom. I may have to look at the some other tools and see if I can do an overlay drawing here. You're right. That'd be faster than, because I am in the heat of the moment trying to draw these stupid arrows and it's pissing me off. But going back to what I was saying, so here's the 3 or 4 minutes prior, 5, 6, the arrows at about a 7-minute prior or 8-minute prior, if you will. Taking things pre-market. When you have the perfect setup, which Macy's, albeit, was a perfect setup. This is one of these. It's just like you wake up and you go, bam, Macy's is it, and then you have it hold here. what happens sometimes is there's enough traders that will get in at pre-market. So this big stripe down that made us this money is actually occurs pre-market. So that's when you get the pre-market move and you're like, oh crap. So that's why if you're taking 1,000 shares today, then you take 250 and short it somewhere in here. And then at the open, you take the other 750. You saw my, I took it pretty aggressively. It was bouncing right here. And I'm just like, crap, we got to take this because it's, it's doing all the trading right in that, basically a 1 penny zone. And one of two things is going to happen. It's going to do this to the downside, or it's going to turn around and flip long, which is why as soon as you get that in, you got to get that upper stop in. I did not ever get my upper stop in today. I was drawing arrows and stuff, but I was also confident it was going to short, and it go out. And then after 30 seconds, it's already down at 1R. So I'm not as worried. But for you at home, where you're not trying to talk, draw, and all of that, get that upper stop in case it flips. You see how fast these things can move. Okay. Well, ZTO, our secondary short, was now it's back to where it would have worked no matter where you entered here. So nice move down out of ZTO. Again, so when things meet the criteria, you just take them. So with this, if you had the perfect exit, it'd be 3R. If you held it out there for a little more, 4R, as you can see where it is. I think as throughout the day, if you're like, oh, I'm just going to hold it because Steve said it's going to go down forever, which you should not do. Don't turn your trade into an investment. But if you do hold it, I think you're going to see this cascading slide down to around $8. So we shall see. All right, let's go to see what's going on in the rest of the market. So overall, the NASDAQ's down 0.12, S&P's down 0.4, and Dow's down 0.4. So about even from where the futures were. All right, EPWCF, I can't honestly remember what they do, and they're in the book. So why don't I just look that up real quick? Obscure name, but it's on the move. EPWCF, and no results. Goodness. Yahoo Finance. Sometimes tickers on these smaller stocks will change, and that's, I think, what happened here. Is it used to be something else. Empower Clinics. This has got to be a psychedelic name. It's at 0.06 cents a share. Anyhow, I inherited this from somebody, so you can see how that's moving. Don't really spend much time in the penny stocks area. Okay, Nikola up nicely. They got a favorable comments from somebody that's driving that. DraftKings up nicely. Let's check out DraftKings since we haven't looked at that in a while. They've been making a comeback. So this is your past 3 days, down at 41, up at almost 50 now. So again, when you think so what's making a move? Well, you think the second wave is coming in. They're starting to close things down, and people don't want to go back out again. So that's part of it. Also, if I went to Vegas this weekend, and I was sitting, a couple of guys went to town. There are 12 of us out there total, but a 4-ship was out there. They do a football gambling weekend, and it was interesting because they're wearing a suite at the Aria, so we're on the 51st floor, and they are on their phones placing bets because they don't want to go down to the sports book and place the bet. So literally placing bets right on their phone. I don't know necessarily that they were using DraftKings because I'm not really going to be, hey, that guy. It's like, oh, what platform are you using? They might be using BetMGM since it's an MGM property or whatever. But overall, that tells me that was kind of validation of the fact that if I'm sitting there and 3 of these guys are doing this right in front of me, 4, are doing this right in front of me, that people are doing that in mass. So again, very optimistic about DraftKings. Glad to see it recover all the way back up to almost 50. All right. And if you really look at the longer term, that's a 15-minute chart. Let's look at, 180 days. Yeah. So, it's been up here at 65. So went all the way back down to 35. So it's really just kind of healing. So it really has plenty of room to go higher. So, all right, let's get out of that chart. A little bit of eye strain. Okay, Shopify, Trade Desk, Boeing. Boeing got hit yesterday, but it's up huge in the past few days. All right, to the downside, TTCF. It's like bad ticker day for me. I have no idea what that is. So let's take a look. TTCF. TCF Financial. Tattooed Chef. Okay. Tattooed chef. How about that? Must have inherited that as well. It's down 10%. Don't invest in tattooed chef. That's what we learned today, kids. All right. Let's see some other names. Jack Henry, Nvidia's in the news, or the chip maker. IQ, Chinese names are getting beat up. And you're like, well, why does Steve keep putting them into my account? Because they're cheap right now. So have no fear. Buy when things are selling off, and you'll be happy later, right? Palantir reminds me of that story. Okay, let's go. We're going to leave. So let's just check one last, see how, well, no, it didn't continue. It's backing up a little bit. You can see this as day traders take profits. So when you think of, so here's a trailing stop story. So if you left like half of your position down in here and you watched it back up and you're like, oh crap, I should have left down here, but you didn't. And you have like half of your shares remaining and you're watching this fall. You're like, okay, well, I'll put a trailing stop of 5 cents. Well, trailing stop of 5 cents means as soon as it backs up 5 cents, you sell. Well, that starts a selling. If a bunch of people do that, you get into this kind of big selling chain, which means these things can move higher and then they start trickling back out there towards the end. ZTO can just continues its sell-off over 10% now. So again, nice move down in that ZTO. Okay, let's go back to Chrome and I'll close out for today. I've been looking at the chat, see what I missed. Nothing much. You guys are quiet. So remember, if you have anything you want me to take a look at, now would be your time. All right. So IPO versus direct listing. So IPOs are all the rage, right? Because that's where you can get in early and make a ton of money. Well, who makes money in IPOs? One group is guaranteed to make money, and that's the investment bank. So they're brought on like when you buy or sell a house. Most people hire a broker, a real estate agent, and then of course they make money as long as the house sells, right? So that's their vested interest is the transaction. Well, same thing with an investment bank. Is say you hire Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan to go in and help you take your company public. Well, with that, that costs a ton of money. Like we're talking 100 million. I mean, we're talking big zeros to be able to get this done. Well, that's expensive. So, and they will tell you, just like your real estate agent will tell you, where I can get you a better price than you can on your own. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But they will tell you in this case that our 100 million is absolutely worth it because we'll put together a big roadshow. We'll send people all over the United States to call up people like me. I'm still too small to get those phone calls, but that's what they do is they take it on the road and they make sure all the shares are allocated and you get in an IPO. But like we talked earlier, people are locked in for 3 to 6 months on IPO before they can sell. The second group that makes money are the founders. So if you have a company and you take it public, you're almost assuredly going to make money, especially if your stock price can hold through the lockout period. Well, with a direct listing, you go public, you fool the public, you have your direct listing and you take your company public. Well, if you can fool the masses for a whopping day or so, you can turn around and sell your shares and get your $1 billion and get back out. Now, are they selling all their shares? No, but you would certainly, from a money management perspective, if your net worth went from, I don't know, a $3 million person up to $1 billion, you should probably take most of that out of your stock, even no matter how much faith you have in it. That's just good money management. So those are the other people getting rich. Now, the third party that hopefully are getting rich off IPOs are the people who buy the actual stock, right? You're getting in at the ground floor, and hopefully, if you're buy and hold, you're going to hold this for a decade. You're not looking to make 10% and sell. There are folks out there that bought PLTR at $10, saw $12.50 and said that's a 25% move up. I'm out. And how do they look right now? Probably kind of like, well, that was a little short-sighted since it's at 18. So just something to consider there. All right, so your direct listing, obviously they can take it right to the public. Asana is another software firm that had a direct listing the same day as Palantir, and it has not performed. It's still not back up to where it got direct listed at. So, okay, that's all I've got for you today. Tomorrow is up in the air. I'm going to be out at Circuit of the Americas, if you're familiar, here in the Austin area. Doing a Porsche driving experience tomorrow. So get to drive a couple of pretty cool cars. They've told me 8 o'clock is my show time. So I will check in the morning and see if the room's up. If I can get the room up between 8 and 8:10 because I'm later in the queue, then I will do the show live from my laptop at the actual track. If all that's overcome by events, I'll take some pictures and videos if I can, and then have that for you Monday. So tomorrow's up in the air. Check in. If I'm not here, I'm not here, and so be it. All right, that is all I have for you today. We will talk to you hopefully tomorrow, and if not Monday. Talk to you soon.